everyone. Welcome to Charlotte Mason Coast to Coast, where we share practical tips on homeschooling the Charlotte Mason way. I'm Amy Snell, tuning in from the East Coast, and I'm with Celeste Cruz from California. Hi, Celeste.
Hi there, and hi to everyone else. We're so glad that you have joined us as we consider the duties we have as Charlotte Mason educators and the delights that are in store for us when we embrace this philosophy of education with a thinking love. So in today's chat, we wanted to talk about morning routines. Amy, at the retreat, you gave a whole talk on the rhythm of the day, and one of the things you mentioned was the importance of the mother developing her own life routine. So can you tell us about that and why you think it's so important?
Yes, well, I feel like as homeschooling moms, it's easy for us to want to put a lot of energy into thinking through our schedule, that morning timetable. Mason has such a huge feast of an education. We want to fit it all in. But there's this sense where we want to think about really what it would mean to have a good life. And overall, are we thriving and having time for all of elements of what it would be to live a good life. And that formal schooling is just really one aspect of an overall education, an overall life of truth, beauty, and goodness. And we see that Charlotte Mason, we know herself, had her timetable for her whole day, and that's been an inspiration to me to see how much she accomplished and did. And upon Mason's death, Henrietta Franklin wrote that she worked very hard, but she never appeared rushed. Hers was an inward peace. One often hears people say that they can only do this or that when the Spirit moves them. She, on the other hand, got through her huge amount of work by working to a timetable up to the end of her days. She was great, good, and God-fearing woman, and she leaves us not sad, but full of thankfulness for her and her work, and profoundly grateful that she was with us, working for us in the world for so long. And I think so many of us feel that way about Mason, but really it can be our own hope for ourselves, our own prayer that the same could be said of us in our work in the world and living out our vocation as God has called us to. So, why have a sense of this overall routines of your day, like a morning routine? There's a great quote from Volume 6 that always makes me laugh, where she says, "Consider how laborious life would be were its wheels not greased by habits of cleanliness, neatness, order, courtesy. Had we to make the effort of decision about every detail of dressing and eating, coming and going, life would not be worth living." And I remember when I first read that and thought, I really do every day make this effort of what am I going to wear, or what are we eating today? And I didn't have those routines, and life was so complicated unnecessarily, and I could get bogged down in details of what's the next thing, and I didn't know. And trying to then learn that habits are a delight in themselves, and model that for my own children, so that somehow, them being able to feel what it's like to walk into my bedroom and it's this nice, neat place, and the bed is made, and I don't know that, it's this magnet for all of them that we're always shooing them out of our room and they are always wanting to be in there. Sends this message that these aren't just like mom came up with a chore list for you. This is part of a good life. So how about you, Celeste? What do you think? And I'm sure having a big family, these routines are important.
Yeah, I feel like I don't really have any other choice. But I do think that no matter how many kids you have, whether many or few, the routines that are in place do save so much energy and really allow me to feel like I'm making progress toward my vision for our family. When I get caught up in the details, I don't have the energy that I want to put toward these sort of larger issues. During the retreat, we shared from a Parents Review article by a mother of 8, and she really seemed to get what it was like to have a lot of demands on, us as mothers. And she had such helpful advice. And I felt like her approach was really my approach too, is that in what you're describing as well, is if we have these routines in place with those small things in life, then we can turn our attention in the moment to these larger things. And a simple morning routine is so effective at helping us in this way. So Amy, why don't you go first? Share with us what are your the key things that you do every morning.
Yes, and really I think the way to have a good morning routine is to start the night before. And so maybe at some point, if people are interested, we could share about what we do in our evening routines to really set us up for that morning when we wake up. But for me, what I try to have is these kind of set things that I will do no matter what. So whether I stay up late for last night was Charlotte Mason book club, so that, or you're up with a sick child, disrupted sleep for whatever reason, the morning routine is the same. It just sometimes would be really abbreviated. And so that way I don't give up the habits, or even like on a break week or something, vacation, that these are still the kind of the key things. So we never truly get off the rails unless we choose to in a purposeful way. So for me, for example, exercise, I find that if I can have this sense of movement in my day, I have a clear mind, and I just have more of an energy for our school time. And so for me, that habit is that I just step outside no matter what before we start school and have fresh air. And so then I might, like, the exercise might be to walk to the end of our driveway and get the newspaper or take the trash down and come back, and like that's all I've got in me. Or some days I have enough time that I go for a walk around the block. And right now I'm not breastfeeding, I'm not pregnant, so I am getting up and able to go for a real couple mile run. But that's not a consistent thing. The consistent thing is getting outside, getting fresh air. And so along those lines, I feel like really spending time with our Lord in prayer, having this sense that the receiving grace is so important. And so again, if I can, the ideal for me would be to have this set time where I can have mental prayer and spiritual reading, get to Mass. But some days that might be abbreviated. I can't get to daily Mass every day, or whatever. It's flexible, but it's still this kind of keystone to have that prayer life. And then for me, it's really become this key thing that I want to get completely dressed in the morning, and not like to go ahead and change. Like if I'm going to go to nature club later or work out later for something, like no, I'm still going to get dressed, wear jewelry, put shoes on or accessories, that kind of thing, so that I do approach that school time in a professional way. Yes, it's home-like, or we're together. It's very natural and a home environment. It's not the prepared school environment, but I want to feel good. And for me, just getting dressed and is a key part of that. And so in order to do that, I've talked about on Instagram how I just whittled down my wardrobe to there's very few things. They can all mix and match. I don't really have to think about it, except for when I put it together for each season. So having that kind of capsule wardrobe is key. And then I just do a little bit of tidying every morning, making my bed, opening our blinds to let the sunlight in, knowing that I can go back to my bedroom and you have a lot of kids running around, a lot going on, and that is this sanctuary for my husband and I. This special place has really been a nice thing. So the rest of the house might have, clutter or toys out, but I know that there is this one place that I can turn to. And I feel like then from there, I can carry that kind of sense of peace with us. So I try to do all of that, but at 7:30 then we eat breakfast, and the children have made breakfast for us, and I'm able to have that time. I might have a little one with me for different parts of the things that I'm mentioning, or so a child might come to Mass with me, something like that. But we've worked so that they can be independent and have their own morning routines as well. And so what about you? I know morning routines are somewhat similar. We both brush our teeth every morning, but are there key things for you that you try to do before you start school? Or
yeah, what I do in the morning changes season by season. So right now I have a 1-year-old, and so I've adjusted my newborn routine to now accommodate my 1-year-old routine. So right now I have my morning 5. I always try to keep it to like 4 or 5 things that will fit kind of in an hour time slot. So my first one is exercise. And like you, that can mean different things on different days. If my husband is free to wrangle the kids, this is before most of them wake up, then I will go for a short run, or sometimes it's just a walk, listening to a podcast. But sometimes it's just some stretching and movement, some kind of very short video, something like that. I too feel like if I can just get moving, it really improves my mood for the rest of the day. So I don't do it every day, but that is kind of my ideal would be, that's kind of the additional one. Like 3 days a week, I try to include exercise, 3 of the weekdays. Then I get ready. And for me, I find that I feel most effective when I am ready, but not actually ready to go out. So I kind of cultivated a small wardrobe of things that I can wear around the house that are presentable, but also kind of comfy clothing. And so for me, getting ready is always, I obviously brush my teeth, wash my face, do my, fix my hair and get dressed. And then while I'm doing that, I like to really pray through the elements of my day, because I'm kind of sitting there and on autopilot. And so I can take that sort of mental energy and focus it of working through what's going to happen today, and praying through each part of that process and my students and what lessons are going to look like and what else we have going on. And I also pray for my husband during that time. I just find that even that 5 minutes, 5 or so minutes that it takes me to get ready is really a nice place for me to have that kind of intentional prayer time. Then I check the menu for the day. And this is because one of my main pet peeves, I menu plan for the week, but one of my pet peeves is when I get to noon and I finally look at the dinner plan, like, okay, what are we having for dinner? And it turns out that I was supposed to defrost chicken, or I was supposed to start the crock pot at 8 a.m. or whatever it was. And so I just do a quick check on the menu. Is there anything that I need to do? Do I need to set anything out? Do I need to start any crock pot? What are we having for breakfast? Do the people that are making that know what they're making for that day? So kind of just a quick check of that menu plan. And then I have spiritual reading. I try to at least read a paragraph from my current book, and that really depends on my baby of how long I spend on this. So because once he's up, then that's that. So definitely coffee and definitely spiritual reading of some sort, and that for me is my sustenance. Those two things work together to really start my day off on the right foot. And then the last thing that of my morning 5 is to greet each of my children. This is a tip I picked up from Missy Winkler talks about it, and others. Some of us types, we go into business mode and we don't always make that time to actually smile at our children when they come downstairs for the morning. And so I try to make an effort to, as each child comes in, to say good morning to them and smile at them And the little ones, of course, run straight to me and get some cuddles in. But even with my older kids who come down and often get straight to work on some lesson or starting breakfast or whatever it is, just to take the second, sit, look at them in the eye and, say good morning and smile. I have to put it on the list, but it really helps.
So we do talk about this a lot in the retreat with the rhythm of the day talk, but even in the talk that you gave on being the prepared teacher as well. And in our retreat handbook, we share our chore charts and our morning checklist, our different routines. So there, we will leave a link to the retreat package is available for sale. But also we would love to hear in the comments if there's other aspects of some of the things we've mentioned briefly today. If everyone is interested in, hearing more about that, we would be happy to share. And of course, we would love to hear from you. Are there some ideas you have that helped you establish a morning routine, or something that you do, like Celeste 5, or do you have a different set of 5? So yes, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us.
Yeah, if you're new to our channel, make sure that you subscribe below so that you don't miss any of our upcoming videos. And until next time, we wish you calm, peace, and cheerful brightness.